It is easy to live in blissful ignorance about lives that feel completely separate to our own. It is easy to read about the tragedy on the news and feel a moment of sadness, maybe share it on our stories or change our Instagram profile pictures. It is easy to give a few seconds of our attention to issues that are circling at the current moment. It is not so easy to focus our time and energy on systemic problems. Problems that have been plaguing many parts of the world for centuries and still are to this day. It is easy to forget that millions of lives are destroyed every single day. Young people are forced to live lives that they have not chosen for themselves. They have their freedom taken away, and with it, any hopes they may have had for their futures. This is the very thing that a horrific number of girls are experiencing every day through child marriage. It is not coming to an end, and we are not trying hard enough to stop it. Statistics on the Girls Not Brides website state that every year, 12 million girls are married before the age of 18. This adds up to 23 girls every minute, and one almost every 2 seconds. Child marriage occurs worldwide, but it is most prevalent in Niger, with 76% of girls there married before the age of 18. It is followed by the Central African Republic with 68% and Chad with 67%. It is a horrific process which ruins the lives of millions of girls and needs to be stopped, which is why I am supporting Girls Not Brides for the Project for Awesome this year. In order to understand the impact that marriage has on young girls, we must first listen and engage with their stories. We must hear stories like that of Noura Al-Shami, who was married to a man in his 30s when she was just 11 years old. She remembers herself on her wedding day as being a child playing at being an adult. Her marriage was physically and sexually abusive, and she gave birth at 13 after 2 miscarriages. She was shamed for not wanting sex. Mariama, a 13-year-old girl in Niger, was not supposed to find out she was to be married. Instead, in accordance with Tuareg tradition, she was to find out on the day of her wedding. Mariama had already come close to being married before, and when it was called off by the authorities, she was mocked for it in class by her teacher and peers. Mariama wanted to leave school because of the verbal harassment, which is when her mother, fearful that she would become pregnant from a stranger, gave her up for marriage. Her mother did not like the solution, but she felt it was the only way. Thankfully, due to intervention, Mariama's marriage was cancelled. However, this is not the case for many girls. There are thousands of stories from girls who feel lonely and alienated, who wish they could be at school and playing with their friends. They are robbed of all the things little girls should have a right to do. This is why Girls Not Brides is so desperately crucial. Members of Girls Not Brides work throughout Africa, the Middle East, Asia and Europe on their mission to end child marriage. They pair social change with community engagement to make an impact on all scales, from local to international. They have 3 main goals within their mission. They want to raise awareness of the harmful impacts of child marriage, they want to facilitate learning between organisations, and they want to mobilise policy and finances needed to make these changes happen. The strategy has been put in place since 2017 and will continue until 2020, and it focuses their efforts in 6 main areas. It begins with governments, who they want to address child marriage in their respective countries. Then it's global, where they want the global community to speak up about child marriage. And this is followed by communities, who are immediately affected, and they want to strengthen their voices and offer them support. And as mentioned before, they need funding to make it all happen. And then it's learning. They need data, evidence and expertise to create an environment where volunteers can learn from each other. And finally, it's partnerships. Girls Not Brides wants to and is growing in capacity and diversity. They're strengthening from working together and becoming more and more reflective of the people they represent. Girls Not Brides is not only questioning government practice but tradition too. So much of child marriage occurs because it is part of a long-standing tradition that has never been questioned. By raising the idea that these practices are outdated and damaging, it is far more likely that they can be changed. However, poverty plays a huge role in child marriage as well. When families are insecure, they are more likely to make decisions based in desperation and need of money. Decisions that are tragic for their daughters. Families marry off their daughters because that is what they feel is best for them, and it will provide them with more stability. I think it is important that while talking about this issue in countries that do not partake in this practice, we acknowledge there are many reasons for it and that the people involved are not doing it for nefarious purposes. It is genuinely what they believe is best. Therefore, when tackling this issue, we must address root causes rather than individual families, as this movement is at its core about empowering women. Child marriage stems from gender inequality. This is the root cause I and Girls Not Brides believe needs to be fought against. The idea that girls are a burden to their family and that forcing them into marriage will ease financial hardship is sexist and harmful. These marriages are a product of the control that young women have been subjected to all throughout history. Girls Not Brides is working to change that, and they need your help. Vote for Girls Not Brides to receive a section of the donations from the latter half of the Project for Awesome through the link in the description, or donate to them directly at girlsnotbrides.org. Happy Project for Awesome!